Recently, Carpoon had its first ever tournament at LTX Expo in downtown Vancouver. How'd this come about? I asked Linus if I could demo Carpoon at LTX Expo, basically being happy off in some small booth in a corner like their Retro Expo, and having a chance for people to come by and play it. Now, to this, he responded yes, but the caveat that it'd be great as a tournament game on stage, to which I thought, whoa, that's cool, I can be there. Then I realized this is a bit harder than just simply demoing. In a tournament, people get more competitive, more serious, and Carpoon could not crash. I knew there was a semi-rare bug in the game from like a physics object. There'd only be one chance for this event. It was March. Could I fix this crash before the expo on July 29th? But speaking of Linus Media Group, how about a word from my sponsor? Myself! Did you know you can buy an early access version of Carpoon right now? Yeah, you can on itch.io. Wishlisting on Steam does help a lot too. And more on how I got the opportunity. I used to work with Linus before YouTube was even a thing, and he was generous to give me an opportunity. Before there was Captain Falcon and thumbnails, there used to be a hidden Linus and sale banners. I also animated an early Linus Tech Tips intro opening, although looking back it should be a lot better. Here I am in a rare appearance on Tech Tips. Back to Carpoon though, to try to eliminate this hard crash bug. Well, what started out as something that I thought might be easy to fix wasn't. Because in Game Maker you can test if an object exists before deleting it, but you can't really do that for a physics object, at least from what I could find. I looked into what was happening, and it was these physics joint indexes that connects a tow truck to a car and keeps them linked together. They're kind of necessary. Sometimes there's maybe one too many being created, and when it was being tried to delete at the end of the game or during the game, whatever, it would just cause that crash. And I started using show debug message, which I hadn't before, to see exactly where in the code things are happening, and that helped a lot in it. By doing that, I kind of moved the hard crash to the end of a match somehow, and eventually I noticed that on the pause screen, if you went back to the title, the game wouldn't crash in situations that it would crash if it was game over. And it turned out I didn't have to delete these physics fixtures at the end of a match, and the game would run fine without a memory issue. So thinking I fixed a whole bunch of things, with 8 days to go, I had a whole bunch of my friends come in for some final Carpoon testing, and within 15 seconds, I stayed calm, but I was slightly worried. This is related to a line of code I commented out that I didn't think made any sense, but it turned out to be an issue with inheritance.
Tom, regarding all the vacations we've been taking.
Not that type of inheritance. Finding out the score was happening twice in some points earlier should have been a red flag. Things are trying to happen more than once in the harpooning process with a vehicle parent truck object, and while they inherit stuff from the vehicle, they are also doing things twice. So finally, after many months of racking my head against the wall, I figured out this inheritance issue, and a lot of it I'm gonna have to give thanks to all my friends helping test Carpoon, especially in the final week when I felt like I was bugging them maybe even too much for this. So special thanks to Yerk, Kelvin, John, my brother, and Carpoon's composer Matthew for coming out and helping so much. And thanks to them, the best chance possible going into the tournament. Around the day of the tournament, I had the realization that, well, the Expo Pass went to 6 p.m. The tournament itself was either going to be at 9 or 11 p.m. And that meant it was going to be in the Wayland area, which had its own separate pass. This supposed to be the last problem of the tournament, like where it could be there, and I couldn't even get in. Thankfully though, I talked to Dave running it, and he helped me out and gave me a Wayland pass. Made it easy. I could then enjoy the expo for a little bit, see some of the WAN show live. But he had also decided 11 p.m. was going to be the better Carpoon time because Carpoon had more of a fixed time for rounds. But this is going to be a lot of waiting around potentially between the expo closing and the 11 p.m. start time. So I went for a walk. I decided to just walk around Stanley Park, the 10 kilometers there. Along the way, you could see all the people waiting for the fireworks, kind of like me waiting around for the Carpoon tournament. Just excited to see what would happen. When I came back, there's a slight delay because of a real-life Mario Kart tournament going on. Had a few snags at first, so the tournament actually started at 1 a.m. for Carpoon, so I was pretty tired the next day. But even then, we still had, I think, more than 64 players sign up for it. There was a wait list, so there could be a full 3 rounds with 16 matches of 4 players at the beginning, and then a semifinals of the final 16, and a finals of the final 4. For the first round, we mostly did Park and Panic versus in 60-second matches because we were trying to fit in so many players in like a 1-hour period. Sometimes I'd mix it up, involve Carnage Island. Sometimes someone would accidentally choose the wrong level and choose AutoWorks. More on that later. I wasn't able to add in overtime beforehand because of how difficult the physics bug was, but it was easy. We'd have a quick 30-second one-on-one if there was a tie. For the second round, we did AutoWorks versus, and for the finals, I did the last truck standing for the baby truck mode, and I had it figured out so it would give a gold, silver, and bronze trophy this time around. I really made sure players knew their color beforehand because we had one time where there's a bit of a color discrepancy where one person thought they were the winner with his blue truck, but that was like a light blue versus a dark blue thing. Fortunately, that only happened 1 round. The hilarious thing was, since this is like the player select area is a practice area, people would be harpooning the wrong level or turning off CPUs or changing the time. In the past, I didn't have a solution for this. I think now I might add a lock for tournament play that you might choose your options, hit the lock, nothing else can change, or somehow make it slower for these options to happen. I have a pretty good idea. I'll put it in later, but usually it's not a problem with only friends. So in the end, here are the winners. Thanks to Linus Media Group for having a Pixel 7 as the grand prize. I gave a couple Xbox controllers away for second and third because at PAX or Mario Kart Double Dash tournaments, I never did better than second. I came in second 4 years in a row. So I wanted something for second and third place. Fourth place got a hoodie. If I had some regrets, it's during rounds, sometimes maybe I would give advice. I think in the future the way to go is only give advice at the beginning, before the round starts, and then keep quiet. I find after that, players might think they should have had some of that advice earlier, even if it didn't apply to them. With only 1 round for players and in a dark environment, it's harder to read how much players liked it compared to a demo because, in a demo, they either stick around or they don't. With a tournament and only 1 round, they're like really into it, really fired up for the tournament. Their expressions are different, more serious, some of them. But it was nice once again to have the super large turnout. I also had the regret of not getting a pink controller as grand prize. I remember Linus and his pink car or pink shirts in the past. I thought, nah, I won't be a dick about that. And then sure enough, all the staff at the expo were wearing pink shirts. On a closing note, I'd like to say sometimes not all the opportunities are advertised out there. Sometimes you just have to ask and make the opportunity happen. When I talked to Linus after, he did mention it was taking a long time, and it's true. It's taking too long to finish Carpoon. And to wrap things up, I just want to give a big thank you again to everyone who tried Carpoon at the expo as the mystery game. And also to Linus, to Chase organizing LTX, and to Dave running the tournaments there. Finally, to all my friends who helped test Carpoon so many times and gave so much of their time to help out. I really appreciate all of it. And it didn't crash. That was the goal. It didn't crash. And so mission accomplished there. What's next, I think, is fixing some of the risk reward in Carpoon, some of the game essence, as Sakurai might put it, and to fix that shaky camera that is the current thing bugging players the most. Back to LTX Expo though, I did have unfinished business to attend to the next day.